uh, it's not, but जो आपको टूल्स प्रोवाइड किए जाते हैं जो उस वर्जन में हटा दिए जाते हैं.
Previous version, why they are removing that? There is a reason, because they are not useful now, right? There are some upgraded versions. There are some useful another tools also. They can work like that only. Like for an example, I can take an example. Metasploit tool. Metasploit 2 was there, right? In that, some exploit was not there. These exploit will not work on Windows 7. Okay, all the CVs are related to the Windows 7. We can't access the RDP to that Windows 7, right? So in 2018 Kali, these exploits were there. So there is no need to have that exploit which are related to the outdated related to Windows 7, right?
तो
Because
बट
now
मैम
I
वो तो
think
उसके यूजर की भी गलती हो सकती है कि उसने मेटास्प्लॉइट अपग्रेड नहीं किया हो, उसके पैकेजेस उसके पास नहीं हो.
reasons can be anything, but the I can say the perfect reason to use Kali Linux as an upgraded version. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, there is a reason to use the Kali Linux as a upgraded version. There is a reason, like they have latest patch, they have latest exploit related to the updated operating systems which are running onto the client side, right? There are many number of plenty of users. They are using operating systems which are not upgraded yet, right? Some
Okay,
users, they are using
so we
Windows
can attack
7.
them easily
Yeah,
using those.
we can attack them easily, and there is no meaning to use outdated operating system. And in industries, or I can say in practical world, it is not feasible way to use outdated operating system. Anyone heard about ransomware attack? That was the
Yes,
reason
ma'am.
of using outdated operating systems, right? So okay, we can continue now. So
Sure, ma'am.
I'm Meenakshi Dakar, and I'm working as a cybersecurity professional, and my exact designation is Technology Solution Consultant. I'm dealing with cybersecurities in LDEP security. So I did CEH. So from there, I pick up some topics related to the enumeration, and then try my level best to explain in easy way so that anyone can understand what exactly the enumeration is and why it is needed in terms of ethical hacking, in terms of when we are working to secure our organization, not in terms of to attack anyone, right? So if you are working as an analyst or if you are working in the security field, then how you can use this facility, how you can use this tool, because these tools can be used for hacking also in, I can say, illegal ways also, right? But that is not our mean, okay? So come to the enumeration. Why exactly enumeration is needed if we have vulnerability scan? Because you have checked or you have gone through all the scanning techniques, right? So in that scanning techniques, we have many number of switches of Nmap. By that, we can find out what are the operating systems running into the network, what are the vulnerabilities out there, or what are the, I can say, ports are open over there, these are filters or closed, what are that, any facility or any information we can collect about the host, right? So why enumeration is needed in that case? Enumeration is needed in that case to dig in out what exactly we have find out from the scanning. For an example, let's say I have 5 computers and they are connected with a switch, right? And these computers are in LAN, in a common network. I can say a intra network, right? It
Excuse
is
me,
not
ma'am.
net. Yeah.
If someone is asking what is enumeration,
What is enumeration? That's what I'm explaining, right? So enumeration. Let me one thing. Shall we set one thing? I'll close the session before 15 minutes. Then anyone who has doubt, please write it down. I can explain that, right? Whatever doubt you have, whether you have from footprinting scanning or you have confusion from footprinting to enumeration, I will explain your doubts, right? So come to the point again, enumeration, why it is needed to find out more and more informations about the host, about the target. Okay, I can say target, I can say host, I can say victim, to find out more and more information. Okay, so basically enumeration is work in, sorry, enumeration is work in intra-network environment, basically, right? In another way, enumeration can be done on DNS also, right? Enumeration can be done on SNMP also, SMTP also. They are not specifically used in the intranet. They can be used in the internet also. They are using into the internet also. So outsiders can approach, right? And insiders also can approach. So in that case, I think someone asked any question. You want me to answer the questions right now?
No, actually, Meenakshi ma'am, let me just interrupt. Like you said the right thing, last 15 minutes you can have for the question answer session. And if we can have it 2 sessions, like maybe halfway you stop and then maybe 5 minutes interaction is there. That is one thing. Second is that we can mute the mics till that time, so that there is no disturbance, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. After
That will,
each and every slide, I will stop for 5 to 10 minutes and I will clarify the doubts.
not after every slide, ma'am. फिर तो ज़्यादा हो जाएगा. Then I think you will be busy. I mean, maybe if you have 1 hour session, let's have a break maybe after 20 minutes, 25 minutes, That's why. That's what I want to say.
Yeah.
That will be more controlled kind of discussion. Thank you.
Yeah, that will be great. Okay. So the thing is, why enumeration is needed? Okay. Again, I'm explaining whatever the information we get from the scanning, what we get about the host, what are the ports are open, what are the vulnerabilities over there, and what is the IP address of host, whether it is up or whether it is down, right? These are the information we get from the scanning. But in enumeration part, it is, I can say, advanced version of scanning. This is not like that you are just accessing the victim computer and you are just completely access. But the question is, here is the condition is you should know the vulnerability first, right? So why I have write down this enumeration technique works in intra-network environment. This is not only the case like that it should be used in intra-network environment. No, most of the cases it will happen into the intra-network environment. Why I will explain you by the nmap practical things, right? So keep in mind, whenever we are into the intra-network, it will be easy to find out the vulnerabilities of the target host, right? And into the internet, it might be tough to find out the information about the host, right? So enumeration basically an advanced version of scanning, in that you specifically find out vulnerabilities and keep advantage of these vulnerabilities. In scanning, you will not going to find out you will not going to take the advantage of vulnerabilities. In another way, we can say enumeration is an active connection with the host, right? So come to the part. Here I have two machines, right? So this is, I can say a machine by which I will find out the information, okay? And this is the target machine on which I am going to target, right? Parallelly, I will run Wireshark also, so you can understand what is going on. Run, because suppose let's take an example. We both are working into the same environment. This is an intra-network environment. These two machines are in the intra-network. So I know my IP address. If I try to do that, I know my IP address, but I do not know another's IP address. It might be another IP address. This is class C IP address. So make clear in your mind, these three blocks will be same, right? This block will going to change. So this machine IP can be 200, it can be 253, or it can be 70 also, right? So we need to find out what exactly the IP address of this, but we are sure these three blocks will be same. So first step is to find out the host which is up, and we can target that host by the vulnerabilities, right? So come to the command. There can be many tools. I'm taking two tools example. R is for range, and I'll type 160/24. Why I type /24? /24, it means 2 power 8. It's around 128 host in this network, right? So this is basically a range, right? So from 162, how many hosts we are going to scan, right?
Can you repeat this 24 part?
Here I'm writing 24, okay? 34, IPv4 size is 32-bit, right? 32 minus 24, that is, it's equal to 8, right? So 2 power 8, 2 power 8, you can understand is like that.
256.
Yeah. So that is around, how much it is? 256, right? So one is for network IP, one is for broadcast IP. It's equal to 254 host is around there, right? So if I write 192.168.226.160/24, it means it will start from this IP 2 plus 26, so 160 plus 254, right? That much IP it will going to scan. I think I'm clear.
मैम आपका लास्ट में पार्ट 160 है, तो 160 से मतलब वो अगले क्लास में पहुंच जाएगा ना?
No, it will not go in a different class. After completing of 254, it will not going to in above IP address because it's not possible. But 220,
okay.
it will not possible, right? Because 3 block will not going to change.
Okay.
Right? So let's wait for 1-2 minutes. So parallelly, I have run Wireshark also. Let me show you. This machine IP address is 166. It is approaching some IP address from 167. It has information, right? From 154, it has information. From 1, it has information. These many IPs are replying to this particular host, right? So these are the machines which are running into my environment, right? So I can target this one, I can target this one, I can target this one, and I can target this one, right? But the question is, here all are in shared environment. In my environment, that is in VMware, so don't get confused. For me, this is important. These IPs are important. What exactly the IPs are, right? So being a security professional, you have an assignment, then you need to find out the host which has some vulnerabilities, which has some outdated softwares, which has some configurations which are outdated, which can be target in future, right? So you have 4 IPs, you can find out vulnerabilities for any one IP, right? For an example, I'm starting from this IP. one more tool you can use like that. I will not wait for the output. I'll show after it's come. Right? 166 is my machine IP on which I am working. Again, it has 24. So I'll again start Nmap after some time, sorry, Wireshark after some time. Yeah. So in Nmap, we have some switches by which we can find out vulnerabilities, right? And I think everyone know this. We have port 65535, total number of ports, that is 65535. 0 to 123 that are well known, and another 124 to 49151 that is registered, and other one are 49152 to 65535 that are open ports, right? So I'm not going to explain like what are the well known and what are the registered port. I hope they are already explained to you, right? If not, we
No,
can
ma'am.
ask.
No, ma'am. These are not explained.
Okay, please note it down. I'll explain that. Okay. So the thing is, in NBT scan, you can find out what are the operating system also running over there, right? So this tool is more convenient over there onto the Net Discover tool. So being a professional, you can use this tool to into the intra network, right? So I target 167. So in 167, I use verbose scanning to port 65535, right? And the target IP is 192.168.226 and 167. This is my target IP on which I try to find out what can be the possible vulnerable ports which I can target. In easy language, you can understand what is the port. Port is nothing but a window for the operating system. Operating system is a house. If we open a window, like, so any thief can enter. Right? Anyway, we can open for the window also, for the good way also, but that can be targeted to the malicious person. Same thing into the operating system. We have 65535 port. I'm explaining the ports until the output will become. So in that 0 to 10123 port are well-known ports. Well-known ports, for an example, it will not going to change for the service. For an example, HTTP service 80, HTTPS 443, SMTP 25 lies in 1023 ports, right? That will not going to change any other operating system. Whatever the server is all over the worldwide, these ports will be the same. It will not going to change. I am implementing SMTP, it will use some another port, right? That's like it will not going to change. So IANA, which will define all the things, and IETF, Internet Engineering Task Force, they are designing the protocols. They have defined then some protocols which will be running onto the well-known ports that will not going to change. Right? Well-known ports. Well-known ports are nothing but, suppose I'm running a company, okay, and I am running as a company that provide the internet services. And in that internet services, I need some ports which will listen on a particular port for my services. So I will request to the IANA that this port I want for my services, right? Please give me this port if this is available. So IANA will provide me that port if that is available. So that will be known for a particular service. Suppose some antiviruses which are running on a particular port, right? Suppose any other service, like I can say that there is a service which is internet governance, Sentinel, that is for log management. These kind of softwares which are proprietary of some organizations, which will run on a particular port that resides in registered port. And what about the open ports? Open ports are nothing but the ports which are not will be used by the any service, by any organization, by any well-known ports. Now, why this is there if they are not using? That is a question, right? When we request to any other machine, that will come to the Wireshark. You can understand here. Let me explain it a little more. And again, I'll do this scan and capture the packets. Right. Let's stop this. See, for this packet, 166, it is targeting 262. This is the gateway IP. I'm looking for any IP which is target and host IP. It's not there. Okay, let me take some easy example in that. I think it's difficulty. Again, I will start again this, okay? And here I am going to ping. Yeah, that is there. I think it has captured some packet. Yes, now. So these are the SSTP and ARP packets. So these are not going to capture in that. We are not, this is not useful for us. Okay. Okay. So this is HTTP protocol. Yeah, now it's perfect. So here you can see it is going to target, destination port is 443 and source port is 50822. This is open port. So whenever any machine which going to request to another machine, so there should be any port, which can send the request. Okay. In computer networks, you have studied three-way handshake. Without any port number, it cannot be happen, right? So come to the again point enumeration. So I did via Nmap, try to understand this. Here it is 21 port number, which is open, and VSFTPD. VSFTPD is a service which is used to establish for the FTP protocol, and this is a version 2. 2.x, any version which is vulnerable. You can find out the information from the exploit DB. There you have more information, or onto the Kali Linux machine also you can find information. Parallelly, I'll show that. Via Metasploit we can find out. So I'll show you in Metasploit. And this SSH version, this is also there, and this port is open. This state are there. So we are looking for this, right? I told you in initial session also, this is version 3 and this is version 2. These are two vulnerable services according to the exploit DB. And one more important thing, for RPC connection, the port is open. That is more vulnerable port, right? So these are the vulnerabilities which we have find out over there onto the target machine. This comes into the scanning. So you have find out there are some services onto the target machine which are outdated. Either we should patch them, or if we are not patching them, then any hacking technique or any compromise can be attempt onto the target machine. So we try to target VSFTPD. Okay? So in VSFTPD, target VSFTPD, we need some netstat command, and to target VSFTPD, we run Metasploit. Metasploit, what is Metasploit? Metasploit is a tool, or I can say it is a database which has the information of vulnerabilities related to different softwares, different services, different protocols, right? If they are outdated, what are the problems with over there according to their, and whatever exploit are there, they can be available onto the exploit DB also for helping to the security professionals, right? So I'll start that. Okay, started. Let me check the status also. Check with them. PostgreSQL SQL is running on 45432. Okay, so it's listening. Okay, we good to go. So MSF console. What is MSF console? Let me tell you. MSF console is nothing but it is a initial way to start the Metasploit database to fetch the exploits what are there to a particular service, right? So whatever things before the MSF console we are doing onto our machine. We are not going to target to another machine, right? But after finding out the vulnerabilities, we are going to target by the MSF console or MSF command line. Till now, I do not have MSF command line. Okay, so I can't approach.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah, tell me.
Excuse me, ma'am. Some student questioning in chat box, so please check this one also.
Okay.
Sorry for interruption.
It's okay. It's okay. Okay. For the 10 minutes or 15 minutes, I'll start with the questions. Please, you can ask. Any questions? In chat window. Actually, I
What is
assume
this
maybe
PostgreSQL?
PostgreSQL, it is a database which helps to load the exploits, auxiliaries, which can be used by MSF console. It is a backend database. This is a, I can say it is a service, right?
Just like Apache.
No, not just like Apache. Apache is, I can say there are some another services which are running for Apache, but it is a database which load all the exploit and auxiliaries that will be useful for Metasploit. Okay.
Okay.
Can anyone help me, because ZoomDB is new for me? I never used this. From where I can find out questions of student? Yeah, sorry.
Chat. You see an option called chat, right?
Yeah, the host is the computer that is accessible over network. What is enumeration? I think I'm clear to you people. What is enumeration? Okay. Intranet environment. Intranet environment is nothing but the what I can say intranet environment. Intranet environment, there the same network is running. For an example, you are working in your lab. I'm taking an easy example, easiest example. You are working in your college lab, or you are working in your home network. Okay. In your home network with the Wi-Fi device, 3 systems are connected: laptop, your machine, your mobile, right? And into your college, all the college machines are connected with one box. There is a box in which all the cables are going. That is nothing but switch. Okay. So into the same network, that is known as intranet. If the network is class A, it means all our IPs are related to class A. Class C, it means all are related to class C only, right? But keep in your mind, IP cannot be replicated. IP should be the unique for any machine, right? So if my IP address is 192.168.0.1, another 1.0.2, 0.3, whether it is class C, so 3 blocks will not going to change. Last block can be changed, right? Search exploit? No, it's not. I think I come across all the questions. Can we start again?
Okay, ma'am, let's resume.
Yeah. So into the MSF console, in MSF console, we are trying to find out what are the exploits which are reside for the VSFTPD, because I'm target the service, right? So onto the exploit DB, you can find out whether this is vulnerable or not. Okay, this is vulnerable. So in here, I need to type down in search. We need to find out exactly what are the services. So it will give me, this is the exploit. It is nothing but a backdoor, right? And this rank is excellent. Okay, I can use that. Backdoor is nothing but this is a vulnerability into the machine which will going to give the access of the target machine, right? Okay, so come to this.
Excuse me, ma'am.
इसकी रैंक एक्सेलेंट से उसका क्या मतलब है?
Excellent, it means you can use this now also, okay? And this will, it means it was identified in 2011, and in most of the environment this can be used, right? Excellent, it means like some ranks are below it, so it might work or it might. Maybe it will give this information.
Okay.
So this is the backdoor which I'm using. So in backdoor, I need to find out what things I need to set it here. So port already decided. R port, it means remote port. Okay. R host, it means remote host. right? So it is already decided. FTP port number is 21, already fixed, right? So I need to set our host. I need to tell him what is the target IP to where you are going to create the connection. 167. Parallelly, I'll run Wireshark also. That will be easy for us to understand what is going on. Okay. Okay. So now I think we are good to go. Exploit just Wireshark. Okay, I'm stopping it here. Try to understand this. 166, this is my machine, is targeted to 167, right? It is trying to send on to the any port. It is not good for me. So it has sent what? RST packet. It means I'm not open, right? So you can't target this port 6200. This is not for me. Right? Now 166 targeted 21. 21 it means FTP, which is vulnerable over there. So it has replied to this port like, yes, I'm open, right? So yes, I can understand these are the this is the sender. I can say the security professional, which are going to find out the vulnerabilities onto the port number 21 by sending SYN packet. Right? Why it is sending SYN? Because it is using TCP protocol, right? TCP has 6 flags. So here there is no session was created. Right? So I can try it again. Let me try whether this machine is on or not. Yes. So now I have access of target machine. How I can find out? I will run some command, Linux command, because target machine is Linux. So it will give me the operating system information, right? And one more vulnerable thing anyone can do into the network if I am using this outdated version of FTP. You can see now, I find out vulnerability that is 21. I try to target that with a backdoor because it behaves like a backdoor, right? So that machine is in my control now. So I try to find out. This is the shadow file where I have all the information related to the passwords, right? So this is the admin account. I can find out this is the hash value. Hash value always start from dollars and ends with this in terms of this shadow file. Okay. There is a utility of Kali Linux by which we can find out what exactly this hash value, it means like which type of hash it is. Okay. So hash identifier. I'll copy and paste this hash. It will give me, it is MD5. It uses it, the hash is created by this algorithm, right? And in future, you will study how to crack this, how to find out the password by this hash value. For an example, I'm telling you, in Kali Linux, there is a tool that is John the Ripper by which you can find out the information from the hash value, right? But they are using predefined dictionary formats of the hash value. They are matching the hash values and try to create the simple text, or I can say plain text. But in general word, it is not. I can say it is not possible to create plain text value from to the hash value. It is not practical way. But I have hash value, then I can match the hash value and I can just pop up that particular plain text which is matching that hash value, right? But it is not possible, right? Okay.
Can we use here rainbow tables?
Dictionary attack, rainbow tables, they are the same techniques. They are using hash values and generating the plain text values, right? Okay. So this is the problem, how the enumeration technique is work, what exactly the enumeration is. I think my words are clear now. So we have completed this part, what exactly the enumeration is, or if we are using outdated services, how they can be compromised in future, right? Okay, so I have completed what is enumeration and how we can find out the vulnerabilities and how we can take advantage of these vulnerabilities. Okay, come to the next part. Into the environment to overcome these kind of security vulnerabilities, how the environment is designed. Okay, it is not necessary what I'm showing here, all of the environment are designed like that only, right? There can be only one firewall, there can be only two firewall. Okay, so for security purpose, in general word, let me explain this demilitarized zone. We have put a box of candies, okay, and we have put another box of chocolate into the house, inside the house, and one box of same chocolates or candies outside the house. Okay, not same, little bit different. Okay, so we are telling that whoever come from outside, they can take the candies from the box which is outside, and who are into the house, they can take the candies from that box. Okay, so we are separated the information by that particular gate. Okay, so come to this technical word. This technical word, this is public network. Here we are resided. Okay, and this is the private network where are the company people, or I can say where are the professional people are resided. They are used to give the information, okay, or take the information. So it is not like that. If I am running an organization abc.com for an example, or xyz.com, all the information are residing onto the abc or xyz.com. There can be multiple pages, there can be multiple data stores. From there I can find out the information. Suppose I need to find out the file related information, ftps. There I have stored some files, or I have stored some information that will be onto the another server. Suppose I am looking for the mail server, mail exchange informations, that will be onto the another server. Okay, but there are some common company information. What are the products we are using? What are the services we are using? Okay, so they are common information. So any people require that. Suppose they want to do business with me, in that case they require that information. So they, in secure manner, I will divide this network into two parts. This is called demilitarized zone, where I have put the information which can be useful for the outsiders also, right? Like DNS, domain name system. In that, I can say forwarding that request from one server to another, or one page to another page, or one domain to another domain, right? So in that, the outsider network can be approached to this, right? But if insider people want the information, they can get that information inside that firewall. So I have made them secure, right? So our next part is DNS. Why DNS is important and why we are using that. Exactly, like what is the necessity of DNS? Okay, I will come on to the another part also, enumeration. So before that, I'll complete the DNS because it's a lengthy topic and lots of the things are used to understand. Okay, so come to this. Exactly what is DNS and why it is necessary. In simple words, whenever you type google.com, okay, I'm using my physical machine. Suppose I did so, this is the IP address, right? it is very difficult to remember this IP address. Very, very difficult. Okay, lots of the chances I can forget any digit or any number, right? So to overcome this problem, we have created some technique by which the IP address and the name can be mapped. This is nothing but domain name system in easiest language. Okay. Now the thing is, you are writing google.com, www.google.com. One more domain is there. Why I'm taking example of Google, because lots of the example I can give. With any dummy example, I'm unable to explain the concept, right? That's why I'm taking this. So suppose you are writing google.co.in also, google.co.uk, google.de, right? google.co.de. What is the meaning of that in that case? Some people will say it will for India, it will for UK, it will for Deutschland. Okay, it's okay. Then why this is necessary? There is a need. If I have multiple number of books in my shelf, okay, some books are related to networking, some are related to operating systems, some are related to algorithms, okay, and multiple number of books. Suppose I need algorithm book, then I need to search all the books. That will take time, right? So what I did, I divide the books into the different shelves, and this is algorithm, network, operating system. If I want algorithm, just go over there and search whatever you want. This is already there. So to easiest way, we divided that. Okay, I'll use this. Whenever I write down, so it will start from here. This is the super domain. Okay, inside that, what is that? And inside that, what is this? Like that, it will going to travel always. And suppose if I write down, okay, so it will start from this domain and it will go over there. Okay, this is the subdomain part, and this is some another thing which can be a company name or which can be any another sub part also. So we need to travel like that. Okay, so always whenever you give any request by the name, it will travel from here, here, and here, right? So this is the common approach to travel to find out the IP of that particular information. Now the question comes in mind, why IP address is necessary if we have this particular name? Why don't we can travel with the name? Okay, there is an answer for that, because the devices which are going to take you to the destination, routers, switches, servers, ports, they're not understanding the names, they are understanding IP addresses. Okay, so we need to put that information into the zone file, which is responsible to change that particular name to a particular IP. This is the concept of domain name system. Okay, why it is important for us, I have explained that, because it is very difficult to learn the names. Okay, now come to the another part. In domain name system, we have a zone file, or we can say a domain file. Okay, it has many number of topics. I have not write down all the topics, so I'm explaining that topics, right? So in DNS, one important thing is domain file. How domain, like what are the components are there into the domain file? Okay, and how we can find out the domain information about that. Before that, I need to you people understand some values. Suppose I'm building your concepts that will go into the DNS enumeration. Okay, so listen me carefully, because these are the points which I will going to tell you when I find out the outputs of the command. Okay, so my motive is not like that. I'm just running the commands and making fun over there. Like this is the output, this is the output. Concepts are important. Okay, so this is the basic command to find out the root. So I try to find out I'll take the example of a website. This website is for educational purpose to study about the DNS zones and what are the records over there into the DNS. Okay, so I'll just explain that. What is this? These number of things. Okay, these are nothing but the nodes which are coming in between of path in the path to get me onto the target. Okay, so why this is important? It is written over there 30 hops. It means it may need 30 hops, 30 routers in between them to get the target, get onto the target. Okay, so it is related to the TTL value, time to live. There are two terms, time to live, and one is RTT, round trip time. Okay, TTL value is nothing but a highest value, which is if that is crossed, then the packet will be dropped. Okay, so if on zonetransfer.me domain file, in domain file there is a one component that is TTL. Why I'm explaining this is the reason. So TTL value, if I am write down that TTL value 5, let's say, and this IP address needs 20 hops to reach out over there. Okay, so my packet will be dropped into the 5 nodes. Okay, it will not go there. So there is a problem. Okay, so we need to maintain all these informations. So come on to the DNS little bit. Concepts of DNS I'm going to explain over there. DNS have multiple number of records, many records. So there is a meaning of records and the domain file. The domain file, how it is look like. I have copied one domain file. Yeah. So it is the domain file. Come on this. This is the main thing which I want. Okay. So come on to the domains and types of record. Let me explain that. It has multiple types of records. Okay. First of all, the domains are, I can say, DNS master or DNS cache. Why cache is needed? Whenever you are trying to, suppose multiple number of users are searching for coronavirus update, okay? Some users are searching for coronavirus update from the US, coronavirus update from the Germany, okay? Some users are searching for coronavirus update from India, okay? So the thing is, these informations are resides on a particular server, okay? And the domain is there. For India, there is a COVID-19 tracker. So that information is resides over there, okay? But the thing is, lots of people are searching. So if every request is go on to that particular server, okay, so that will be performance issue with that server because multiple requests are coming. So what we are doing, we are just replicating the information to the another nodes also. That is, this replications is for two-way. First is for security purpose. Like if that particular node is failed, then that information is available onto the another nodes also, right? Second is easily maintain the traffic load, okay? Because some users who are residing into the Mumbai, if they are pinging zonetransfer.me, might be they need 5 nodes, might be they need 10 nodes. If I'm residing in Bangalore and I'm trying to ping the zonetransfer.me, okay, so might be I need 7 nodes or 30 nodes, okay. If someone resides into the Jaipur, they will need some other nodes. It depends, okay. And if they are approaching the information, might be that information is replicating onto the another server also. They can find out from there, okay. Now come to the question again. So the domain file has name, what exactly the name is, TTL value, okay. Next is a record class. Basically, it is IN. The full form of IN is Internet Name Space, okay. And the last one is record type. And the final term is record data. What are these data? What are the term? Let me explain that. So record type, TTL value I have explained. This is the name, okay. And this is name space. I'll explain that also. Come on to the record type. Record type is nothing but, I have given an example books of different books, and I'm putting it into the shelf, okay. So onto the single server, I need to utilize the space. And if I'm replicating that information onto the another server also, I need to utilize that space. But the thing is, if I am not doing it properly, then it will take time to search, okay. So I have divided this information into the records. So first record is A record. If the domain is using IPv version 4, then it will be the A record. 4 times A record, IPv version 6, okay. CNAME, it means a canonical name, like this name can be find out in another name also. Might be there is some another name also, okay. Example.co.in, example.co.uk, might be there is some information, okay, related to that. So that is a canonical name. And suppose I need to figure out the informations which are related to the mail server. So for that, I have mentioned MX record. Okay. So the basic utility to find out these informations are NS lookup, basic utility. Okay. Another utility is also. So these are the basic records. I'll come on to the one more record. Keep this in mind. Okay. So what are these terms? These terms I'll explain you with the example. So this is the primary name, okay. I have write down zonetransfer.me, but it is telling me the primary name server. Name servers are nothing but they are known to be find out the exact information. Suppose I'm taking an example. Yeah, this information can be find out here, and another information is also that is replicating onto the another server, okay. So that can be a secondary server, okay. So it is not easy to find out the primary name server always. This website is for study purpose. This website is for DNS study purpose. Basically, this is a project is running going over there. So this I can find out over there. And responsible for mail address, this is the server, okay. What is the serial number? Serial number is nothing but for a practical instance, the server has TBs of 100 of TBs of storage, okay, and multiple million number of users are coming over there. Suppose I have changed some data being an administrator, or some data is added into the database. So that information should be replicated onto the another server. Otherwise, if that information is not going to replicate it or it is not updated, in that case, for an example, one person is approaching this server, primary server, and they are trying to find out how many numbers of COVID-19 positive patients are in the India. So they are returning some another number, and if a person is approaching onto the secondary name server and they are not sync in between properly up to the time, okay, so that information, old information is there, they will give the old information. So there will be the conflicts in the information, okay, mismatching in the information. That is not good for reputation and good for not good for the users also. So come to the point. Serial number is nothing but whenever any information will going to change into the primary name server, that particular serial number will going to change. So the secondary name servers will got to know that some information is going to change. I need to sync it up. Okay. And in how much time it will going to know that, that was known as a refresh rate. In every 2 days, these two servers, primary and secondary servers, the replica servers will going to sync it up with the primary server. Okay. If that particular server is not replying in this particular seconds of time, in that case, it will retry for that. And that is for 15 minutes, okay, waiting. That in these many times, the server is not replying, I again try that, okay. Expiry time, if the server is not replying primary server, there is no update from that particular primary server from against the request which is sent by the secondary server. Okay, so that particular request will be going to expire. TTL value 3600. Okay, to reach out from one server, another server, from host to server. Okay, so this is the maximum nodes which is required to reach out this server. Okay, so I think I'm clear to you people. Any questions on that? Okay, no questions. Shall we proceed now?
It's a little bit confusing.
Which thing is confusing? Hello?
Ma'am, I can't understand. I understand these last 5 points that it is refreshed, but I can't understand this how it is going on with this service.
Okay, let me draw and I'll try to explain you. I'm taking dummy example, okay? In that case. You will understand that while I'm explaining the practicals. Anyway, I'll try my level best to make you understand because this is the important part. I'll design a network that makes you understand. Okay. No ports are available. It will take time. Let me make you understand like that only. This is the main server, okay? And these are the replica servers, okay? Suppose I'm storing some information over there and these are the replica server which are syncing it up. These are the secondary name server I can say, okay? So if user is approaching zone transfer.me, okay? So that request can be go over there, can be go over there, can be go over there. These are the secondary name servers, okay? If that will fail, there is no impact on this server, if that will fail, there is no impact on this server because they have information. So in a rare case, if that primary server will got fail for a seconds of time, for a fractions of second, it is not available. Okay, so in that case, that information can be fetched from here, and from here. So that's why these secondary name servers will comes into the picture. That is nothing but a replication servers. Okay, and this primary server is nothing but where the right operations can be performed onto the data, actual data, right? I think now I'm clear.
Okay, ma'am.
Come to the tools which are useful. Yeah, terminating this session. Okay, so come to this part again. There is a term in record, AXFR record. AXFR record is mentioning the part which is known as zone transfer. Zone transfer is nothing but you are targeting mail.zonetransfer.me, mail services which are running onto the particular port, the domain that is a zonetransfer.me, right? So the thing is, might be on this server, that information is not there. Might be it is taking facilities from another vendor to provide the mailing services. Okay, so this information will be forwarded onto the another server. That is nothing but known as a zone transfers, or whenever the information is transferred from one zone to another zone or one server to another server in easy language, that is known as zone transfer, that is maintained by AXFR records. This information is not easily available for any domain, and that is comes into the serious offense to find out the AXFR records of a particular domain, because that is not easily available. First, if you are trying to find out that information with the advanced tools, that will be captured into the intrusion detection systems or their logging systems, which are running over there onto the company network or organization network. They are monitoring. If you are, whether you are following this, you are accessing this, but they are monitoring you. Okay, there is a logging tools like ArcSight. I can take an example. Okay, so they are logging tools which are logging your activities, right? That can be used for the inside network also, for the outside network also. Okay, so come on to the topic. So here we have number of tools to find out the information. Okay, so previously I'm taking, again take the example NS lookup set type equal to MX. Okay, it will give me many information. Let's compare that. It is manual utility. Okay, to make you understand about the records, that's why I'm explaining you. We'll come on to the another tools also. CNAME. Okay, or I can say name servers, which are there. So it will give me these two servers which are responsible to get the information about zonetransfer.me. Non-authoritative servers. It means they are not primary servers. Okay, There are two kinds of server, authoritative and non-authoritative servers. Write operations are not happening on these servers. Okay, they are just syncing up, right? So now come on to the part. Here you can see number of different domains are there which are providing these facilities, mail. Okay. Now the thing is, can you see that? ZoneTransfer.me, mail exchanger, and any other domain is responsible for that. Any other domain is, there's multiple number of domains. You can see that names are different. And here the name servers which are having the actual information, they are different. Okay. So the question comes in mind, this is the domain name, but it is related to different domains. Yes, because it needs to settle down the information. It needs to categorize the information to balance the load that are coming onto the server. Okay. So it is using Google email services, okay, and another Google email services. These are the mail exchangers which are running onto that particular server. Okay, these are the non-authoritative server for testing. If I check the IPs, sorry. Yeah. Can you see that? IP is different. Okay. So this is the main difference. Might be they are situated onto the another location. Might be they are running onto the same machines with the fragmentation of virtual environment there. Anything can be happen. Okay. One thing, DNS is uses port number 53 always, and it uses TCP and UDP both the ports. When it comes to the AXFR information, it uses TCP. When it comes to the request and response from the host to the server or server to the host, in that case, it will use UDP information. Okay. Server cannot request, I'm sorry for my words. Whenever it will going to respond the information, required information that is required from the host. Okay, in that case, it will use UDP. But in AXFR information, whenever the zones will be transferred or the information will be exchanged, or the servers will be transfer your request, in that case, it will use TCP. Now, come on to the more deeper way. There are some commands which can be used. So you can check what is this command. This is a DNS lookup utility. I'll stick on to this domain ZoneTransfer.me because I don't want to set any wrong example. Okay. So I'll stick on to this ZoneTransfer.me. So in ZoneTransfer.me, by the host command, you can find out what are the name servers, what is the IP. Okay. So it will give me the servers IP for this, what are the other zones, and I can say what are the other servers which are responsible for different servers, different services are over there. But IP I do not know. I know the IP of this particular domain. Okay. So the thing is, in terms of enumeration, I need to dig it into in this particular domain. what else can be there? What else can be there which can be compromised by an attacker in future? That I need to dig in. Okay, so for that I try to find out the name servers. -T is for type. What are the type I am going to target? These are the two zone name servers which are related to this particular domain. Okay, and another information, if I try to find out the mail exchange records which are written over there, but anyway for the command purpose, if you want to practice it, MX is the record which is responsible for the mail exchange. Okay, whenever you design a domain file, that will be the MX record written over there. Okay, instead of SOA. You have seen in domain file, right? Here it is. Yes, there it is, SOA. Okay. So now come to the part. We can find out little more information about these name servers. What are these name servers? What informations are there onto that name servers? Okay. So I'm using me, okay, and I'm trying to use this particular server. Okay. So it will give me some more information that this is the IP address which is running over there, and my connection is refused. Might be this is for internal purpose. Okay. So this is not accessible for another users. Might be this is for internal purpose. Might be zone transfer.me for the external purpose. Okay. So I'll check for the another name server also. And it is also the internal purpose. Both IPs are same, right? So the thing is, I cannot approach that particular name server because this is not for outside people. Okay. What other things can we try for that? There is one more tool to find out lots of information that somehow we are unable to find out by this host command. Okay. One more thing I want to make you explain. I start this. Why I'm explaining again and again Wireshark, because it will make your, it will develop your concepts, right? Okay. .38609, this is open port. Send it by 166 to 2. It means my end IP. Okay. It is targeting 53, right? This 53 is returning to this particular port. What it is, the flag RST. It means I will not going to entertain. Closed. It can be filtered also. Okay. Closed and open means if the service is running over there, it means the port is open. Okay. Filtered, it means a service is running over there, but it is monitored port. It is written into the, it is mentioned into the firewall. It is mentioned into the intrusion detection system to find out the logs. Okay. So that is, the port is filtered. Okay. This part is completed into the scanning. So by the scanning, we can find out which port we should target or which port the attacker will target, or any outsider person will trying to target, or any malicious person which is reside into the intra network into my organization, if trying to target onto the server, onto the facilities, I can find out. Okay. Okay, so come to the tool, another tool, that is dig. By dig tool, we can find out some more information related to that. So it will give me the information. This is the primary name. This is a record type is A. It means it's using IPv version 4. Okay. Another name is also this, and this is using IPv version 4, and IP is written over there. Okay. And some more information, if I trying to find out, in that case, I need to mention what type I need to search. SOA records. What exactly the SOA records? What is the benefit of using that? SOA records stands for start of authority. Okay. So it is specific related to the primary domain, or I can say the DNS zone, which handles the different kinds of records. Okay. So SOA is nothing but this server name. If you are remember that, I was unable to find out, I was unable to dig it out particular domain. Why? Because this is handling the primary server. So they're confusing us. This is the name and this is the primary. Okay. So these are the information by which SOA record I can find out. Okay.
Ma'am, by using SOA, we can find out the main server.
Primary server.
Okay.
So we can find out where the right operation is following, but for the secure domains, for the secure uh, organizations, it is not easily revealed. Okay, so we should not try to find out that. Okay, if we are authorized to do that, if we are authorized to test the network security patches, in that case we can approach that. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
So come to the another part. I told you AXFR records. Okay. So in that AXFR records, I need to find out how exactly the domains are transferring the information to one server on another server, or what are the another things which are running over there onto the primary server. Okay. So type I have mentioned, I will mention here the AXFR. Let's see what information it will give. Okay, type. My connection has got refused. Okay, I cannot find out that information. AXFR records basically the information which we need to find out. Let me try about this. Okay. And I have Okay, so both the servers is not responding for that. So I need to try with the another tools. What exactly another tools can give me the result? Okay, it has given me this. Great. Okay, now try to understand from here. Those who have not understood, because I have seen in chat some people are saying that I'm not understanding from the starting. I'll give you time. After 5 minutes I'll close the session and the question answer session will be start. So you can ask whatever the doubt. I'll answer your doubts which are related to the level 0 to level high. Okay, come to the part. It depends on the tool to tool. Let me give in more depth. I started this and again I am starting this tool. Okay. Started capturing. See, it is trying to target 8141. This was the primary name server, if I'm not wrong. 53 port number it is asking. Okay. And it is replying as a ACK packet. It means, yes, I will going to entertain. Right. 161.41 again it is targeting. And this is what looking for AXFR zone transfer. Okay. For what? For that particular domain. This is the information which is floating over there. And come on to the another part. Again, it is targeting the primary domain. Okay. And again, this is approaching to 53. Why? Because ultimate goal is for find out the information from the DNS, which is written over there. That is the DNS information we are trying to find out. So everywhere we are trying to target the port number 53, right? And come to the concept again. I am sending the information from the open ports to whom? 53, right? It is not vice versa. We can't use that. Okay. So whatever the open ports is there, I'm sending the information. There is one more flag that is fin. Fin is nothing but stands for finish. Finish is nothing but I am terminating the session from my side. This packet is used to send in malicious activities, various malicious activities. This flag is used to confuse the firewall, to confuse the security boundaries, perimeter securities onto the network. Okay, so I will not going to explain this. Okay, so my part is here I'm going to explain. So it is taking the information from the domain file. Okay, so from starting, it is approaching zone transfer.me. The record type is internet name server, a record type. Why it is A? Why? Because it is using IPv version 4. These are the two name servers. I see, we have seen it. It was the target into the Wireshark. Okay, there is one more server. See, another IP address. So might be this is near to me. That is might be available for me. So my all the requests will be forwarded over there. Might be someone sitting onto the another location. This will be the near, because in network always they are try to find out the nearest path. How many number of hops there, where the number of hops are less, the traffic will be forwarded over there to less or to decrease the burden, load balancing technique. Okay, these are the mail servers which are running. Okay, and this is the IP address. It is not necessary that this is dedicatedly used by this particular domain or this particular company. Okay, some organizations which have many number of users, million number of users, they have created their mail exchange services. Okay, so some companies are outsourced their services. So in that case, the sharing information will be there. These are all A records, and you can find out the IP addresses are different. Okay, so if you are employee of this particular organization and you are using the email services of this organization, you might be forwarded on to any other email exchange service. Okay. Zone transfer. In that, we have some information. This is targeted to this particular name server. It means this particular IP in easy language. Okay, so read this. Zone transfer, it is trying to target, and this is resides on that. Okay, one more service that is using TTL value 7200 SOA record. Any other information is not available for the security purpose. There is one Casio, another tool is running over there. Okay, this is related to the hardware information onto the particular domain. Okay, and the TTL value is 300. For an example, this is a particular IP and this is running for this domain. Okay, and these are the records, PTR records, which are using this particular domain. PTR records are nothing but when I type google.com, it will start com Google www. Okay, PTR records, when I typing IP of Google, it will search for the IP and corresponding domain name. For an example, so it will search for this particular IP. If you go and type this into the Kali Linux and try to capture the flag into the Wireshark, then you will going to understand what exactly the thing is. I know I'm exceeding from the time, but this is the last topic. Starting this. PTR records. Here you can see, right? PTR records, PTR records. Okay, so it is searching for that. What is the corresponding domain for this particular IP? Please tell me that. And it will start from 166, 226, 192, 168, 192. Okay, this is anyway my machine IP. This is the IP. So it will start to 33, 225, and particular 34. How it is going? Google server is in some location that will going from the routers, and I'm reaching onto that particular server. Okay, so this is the host which are last of to me. It can be my gateway IP. That particular digit is involved in that, so it will be resolving by this IN address ARPA. There in network coding, there is one term in address ARPA. So this will define the particular how it will going to flow that. Okay. I have explained the basics. We will dig in depth to that. And for tomorrow, I am picking the topic that is SMB. Okay. So if you want to understand more and more and you want to ask more and more questions, please study about SMB first. Okay. And you can study or you can review this session. I will dig into in next section. Okay. This was the basics of enumeration. You can conclude that into the enumeration. Okay. So come to the questions. Any questions anybody have, please? Hello.
Yeah, we discussed enumeration in intranet, right? We want to do from outside.
You want to do outside. Okay.
I mean, from
Then
outside, if I want to do enumeration.
this DNS information, I'm not part of this zone transfer.me, right? So I'm doing this from the outside,
Okay.
right? You
So
can
I
find
mean,
out the information.
yeah, I mean in the internet example which you gave, from the target computer, we found the ports which are open. We found FTP. Then from FTP, we exploited and found some information, right?
Yes,
Same way,
yes.
if you want to do from outside to an intranet network, then we have to go through DNS, right?
It's not like that. You can find out the information by the vulnerability scanning of Nmapper to that particular domain.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's
Okay.
not like that, that you should
Okay.
you should go on to the DNS. No.
Okay. DNS is separate topic. Okay.
Yes, it is a separate topic.
Sure.
Anybody have any questions? No questions, I think. Okay, so come to the point again. Let me explain the previous answer which I have given. That I don't know it is available onto the recording or not. The previous question was there, like we should go on to the DNS, always try to find out the information of FTP or SMTP or any other service which is running over there. Okay. Suppose the web server is running over there. Okay. Basic example, port number 80. So in packet, I'm going to send it out. Okay. Let's see what answer will come. Okay, until that answer will come, I'll explain you. There is a more, I can say, there is more chances to get attacked if I am into the intra network. Why? Because I have explained you, we are using the same class IP, so I can predict. Might be this machine is using this IP, might be this machine is using this IP. My machine IP is this, I can give the range. But this is not possible for the outside world. Okay, see. The port number 80, which is open, which is running onto that particular domain. Okay. And this is the another port that is remote anything. I don't know what is this. So in that, a particular 4000 port is open. We can try or target. Might be that will work. Might be. It is not possible. Okay. It is not always like that. It should work. Right. So in that case, we can use exploit which will work onto the HTTP. There is a tool of Metasploit by which you can find out the in exploit which will run onto the HTTP. Okay. And we need to find out the service which is running 4000 because it is registered port, it is not well-known port. Okay, so we don't know what exactly the service is running over there. Okay, so we should not, we will not going to target that, but yes, we can find out the exploit for this and we can target. Okay, so this is not necessary always we should go via DNS. Okay, DNS is a term which is used for to solve your IP address to domain name to IP address in simple and easy language. Okay, but the thing is, it is not necessary the domain which is name over there. Okay, it is the primary one. Might be there are replicas. Might be this domain is correlated to another domains. Suppose I am employee of zonetransfer.me, and whenever I used to access this website, when I connected to the company network, suppose this domain I need to type in.zonetransfer.me. So I have some authentic information which is related to the internal employees, which should not reveal to the outside people, right? So in that case, we should use that whenever we are into the company network. And if I'm a customer, let's say, if I'm a partner and I want to find out what are the new patches are there into a particular version and what are the new softwares or what are the new services I am launching, being a company to the customers. Okay, so I go just zonetransfer.me. There are some information. Okay, so we are dividing that information into the particular things. Okay, so that will be the required information. And one more thing, in mail exchange servers, there are number of mail exchange servers for zonetransfer.me. If I'm an employee of that, so my email will be like amdagar@zonetransfer.me. Okay, so might be that will transfer for the internal domain that will run into the internal private network that will run over here. Might be, okay, for the security purpose. And suppose I'm a partner, I'm not residing into the company network or to the intra network. Okay, so I'm giving their email ID to them. Okay, so their email ID, suppose abc@zonetransfer.me. Okay, so that will be transferred, if because it is coming from the public network, that will be transferred to the another SMTP server. Might be. Okay, so these transmission is depend on to the security provider that they are designing, those who are designing the secure network, perimeter security, internal security. Okay. I think now my words are clear. Okay. Short trick to learn, find out tools option. See, honestly, I'm always not saying that you should learn commands, you should learn tools. It's not like that. You should have concepts. If I try to find out the name servers, if I try to find out the primary name server, vulnerability of primary name server, then why this is required? If I'm trying to find out the vulnerabilities of security name server, why this is required? Why this is necessary? If I'm trying to patch the server, like FTP is running with the version 2.3, this is vulnerable, backdoor. Okay, I need to patch it out. Why? Because this is a backdoor. So we should know what exactly the backdoor is. Tools, maybe number of tools are there. Okay, I'm using Metasploit. For SMB, I can use SMB client. Okay. Enumeration, in simple words, let me explain that. In your house, if someone is looking at your house, he knows there is a main door, there is one more entry door, 6 windows, 2 floors. Okay. But he don't know which window do not have latch and he don't know which window is open. Okay. Somehow he got to know that this window is open. Okay, we can, as a thief, we can go there. Okay. But after going into that, he got that some guard is there. Honeypots. Okay. To find out that what, from where is this window is approachable to the thief. Okay. So intentionally I keep it open. So scanning is nothing but to find out, yes, there is a door, it is closed, entry door, it is open, window, it is closed. Okay. Enumeration. Suppose you find out a window that is open. Two windows you have find out that is open, 21 and 53 port number, FTP and DNS, right? But FTP is filtered. You got to know there is a guard. Okay. So I will not go over there. But 53 it is open. So I'll try to approach that. But before approaching that, I want to make sure whether it is open. It is showing in scanning, it is open. But I want to make sure, like, what is my success rate in that case to get into this. Okay, so in that you dig into that particular thing, find out exploit, or find out version, what are the service running over there, particularly according to the exploit DB, what are the exploit over there for that particular version of service. Okay, so after searching all over the things, then you will be sure, yes, if I go over there, then it will going to work. 90%, 95% chances are there. Okay. Sometimes the handshake is going to interrupt. Okay. Sometimes connection is terminated from the host. Okay. Whether it is open also. So there are some cases. So enumeration is nothing but find out vulnerabilities. In scanning also we are trying to find out vulnerabilities. Dig into the vulnerabilities and try to find out how these vulnerabilities can lead to monitor the target. How these vulnerabilities can be give the advantage to attacker to control the system. Okay. So that is the enumeration in simple language. Okay. Other than this simple language, I am unable to explain in that. This is the simplest language the enumeration is defined. And I have used one word, that is intranet. Why? Because it is easy to find out the net host. Okay, it is an easy approach. That's why I define intranet. But if you're going to internet, you might not get success. You might not get that much information. Like for an example, I use Nmap to find out the information. I have this information. I use Nmap with verbose scanning. I might have some more information. I use Nmap with no ping switch. I might have some more information. How you can find out? Let me tell you how you can utilize that information. Whenever you run Nmap to find out vulnerabilities, run Wireshark behind that. Always try to read what packets are running, what service is going to target, okay, what flag is going over there. Then you will understand the security exactly, what it is, why it is necessary, why it is necessary to patch the vulnerabilities. Okay, so I think I'm clear now.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, what is patch?
Patch is nothing but the updated version of the software, the updated, like how you will overcome the vulnerabilities. Suppose the XP was having some issues, okay? SP2, service provider 2, version 2, which have some issues. You can easily take the remote connection of that particular XP machine. So in SP3, there were some exploit which will not going to work to take the remote connection of that machine. Okay, so the SP2 XP was patched and the new version is coming into the market, that is XP SP2. Okay, so overcome the vulnerabilities, or I can say the providing the new facilities in terms of mitigating the vulnerabilities, that is nothing but a patch, normal language.
Ma'am, what is exploit?
Exploit. Version 2 of FTP can give you facility to monitor the machine or have a control all over the control over the machine. Okay, so that particular version, there is a problem which is residing over there. So that is nothing but exploit. And if you want me to tell the exact definition of exploit, then I need to little bit think about it. Exactly, it is same language in that case. Take SMB version 3 is there. You can take the remote connection. Okay, but okay, let me take an example.
Ma'am, what is ma'am, what is remote connection you are talking?
No, I'm not. Just let me take an example. You write a C language code, right? In that C language code, you have written down like if someone press 1, switch you have used, if someone press 1, then I will go to the case 1. I will go to the case 2. I will go to the case 3 if someone press 3. Okay. But somehow you have mislead the code. And there is a problem. If I press 3, okay, then it will go to the case 1 because you have write down the condition. In case 1, you want to print out hello. In case 2, you want to print out welcome. In case 3, you want to print out denied. Okay, but you have changed the case numbers. So in switch, if I print on screen 3, okay, and it will give me the output of case number 1. So there is a problem in that. Okay, so I can take the advantage of that problem. In normal language, it is exploit. How can take the advantage of that particular issue? That I need to find out. That is exploit. Okay.
And then what is vulnerability?
What is vulnerability?
Weakness in the system.
You have write down that particular code that may lead to the issues. Okay, I'm not taking advantage of that issues, but that is there. Yes. In XP/SP2, there was an issue, and that is ages. That is from ages. But in a particular year and some any code analysis part, it will come into the mind. Yes, that can be leads to a problem. Okay, so
Okay,
that may become
ma'am,
exploit.
ma'am, if there is a problem in code, it is vulnerability, and if we take advantage of that vulnerability, it is exploit.
Yes,
Am I right, ma'am?
You can say.
Okay.
You can say that. Okay. I will send you some links. All the students. I will let the Sanjay sir know. Okay. Please read these topics which I have explained today, and we can go. Yeah.
Ma'am, what is DMZ?
DMZ, that is demilitarized zone.
DMZ.
I have explained it very clearly. Please don't try to me explain it again and again, please.
Ma'am, actually from starting, when you are talking about an enumeration, I didn't understand anything from the starting of this lecture.
Beta, exactly the thing is, I will send some information related to these things, basic things, okay? Please, you have this night in your hand, okay? At least 12 hours or 14 hours you have. So you can go through all the topics which I have explained now, okay? And we have question answer session again tomorrow. Okay, so you may be more specific in your questions. That will be good for you and good for me also. Right?
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll
Ma'am,
give the topics.
Yes, ma'am, please share the reading material because first time we heard about enumeration and we saw these demos.
Yeah, sure. I will be
Yeah,
happy to
thank you.
share.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I'll share that.
ma'am, what we will discuss tomorrow, will you please tell so that I can study about some of it and be able to understand it well tomorrow.
I will teach you more insights into the Metasploit, how you can use different exploit of Metasploit tool. Okay. Mainly, I will target onto the SMB services. Okay. And I will target onto the SNMP services. That will be a theory kind of thing. I will make you understand the concepts behind that. Okay. Because it needs a network to be settled down. I do not have that much facility. I have virtual machines, but another things I do not have. So make concepts I make you clear. So tomorrow we will going on to the more Nmap commands and how to approach that packets to understand exact vulnerabilities and how to exploit them. Okay. And I will go more dig into the DNS AXFR information again. Okay. So for
Ma'am,
that, yeah.
Ma'am, what is Metasploit tool?
Metasploit, like Nmap, you have all the scripts that will run. Okay. And you will going to find out the target information. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
I will share the content. Okay. That will be helping you out more. I'll share the content definitely. You will get the content by tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon. Yeah.
Okay.
So in tomorrow evening, you will be ready with the concepts and with your questions. Okay. Yeah, thank you so much everyone for your time. Okay. And we will again continue from 6 o'clock tomorrow.
Hello, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Meenakshi ma'am. Thank you so much. I have been listening to you, and you have a lot of patience to reply even the basic questions also. So it was a wonderful session, and hope that tomorrow also every participant gets a little more prepared before attending that course. So you are also giving the reading material, so that's a very nice thing. Thank you so much. Bye.
Sir, thank you. And that is my pleasure to give the information to students. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Oh, yeah. Have a nice evening, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye, participants. See you tomorrow. Good night.
Good night, sir.